Bash Bros movies, and this is like Venom is one of those movies that's been anticipated ever since it was announced, and one of the reasons I was expecting it for so long, because I mean, growing up on Spider-Man cartoons and watching the movies, Venom is one of those characters that stands out. He's ultimately Spider-Man's arch nemesis. I mean, he's the exact opposite well, I mean, he's like what Joker is to Batman, that's Venom to Spidey, okay? And
yeah, but we do have to agree, Spidey has a pretty nice role gallery.
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, you could argue Green Goblin is also his exact opposite, but I mean, when they announced Venom, and because of all the rights that Sony has for the characters in Spider-Man's, pool of characters, they pretty much hold all the rights, movie rights, live action rights, and so the only way Marvel gets to use them is if Sony lets them, and ultimately
as they did with Spider-Man.
Yeah, Homecoming, yeah. And so when they announced they were gonna make a Venom movie, the thing was like, how do you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man, right? And to me, that was like, I thought that maybe we may get a glimpse of some version of Spider-Man, because they let Marvel use one of the versions of Spider-Man. It's not like they can use some other version or even the same version, Maybe get another Peter Parker, maybe, you get Tom Holland to play him if you can, if Marvel lets him do it. Maybe you don't, maybe you get somebody else to play Peter Parker, maybe you get Miles Morales, maybe you get, Miguel O'Hara or somebody, anybody. Like, there's a lot of options. But in the end, turns out they were going to do it without Spidey, and to me that was the most anticipated thing about this movie.
Well, let's not forget Sony's first attempt at Venom.
Well, it wasn't an attempt. I mean, it was... They literally made them. I mean...
Well, yeah, they did make them, but, the best part about the whole Spider-Man 3 movie, it's like Sandman was probably the best part of the movie.
Listen,
the only character we did enough, the whole Spidey symbiote thing just went nasty. The whole Venom thing, you
can't blame one scene for the whole movie.
Yes,
man.
you can, man.
No, you can't.
If it's that scene, yes, you can.
No, you can't. One
and
scene
for everybody
doesn't...
watching, you did, you know what scene we're talking about. Especially watching.
You can blame one scene for the dance for the whole movie.
It's so way beyond its time. Like, if it was done today, it probably it probably win the guy an Oscar.
No, man, that scene is still awkward to watch, man. Okay,
of course it is.
But
which is why I never watched Spider-Man 3. If I'm gonna watch one of the OG Spider-Mans, I'm gonna watch Spider-Man 2, which is probably the best Spider-Man movie today.
Yeah, I usually start with the first one and then watch the other two, just because.
I don't watch the third one.
I have to, man. I have to. I just,
no,
what?
Don't.
For so many wrong reasons, that movie is still good, man. I mean, it has.
No, it's a good movie.
But we're not here to talk about the movie. I mean, but.
So there was the whole Venom. What they're gonna do with Venom? There's no Spidey.
And the character is the same, Eddie Brock, right? So
what they're gonna, and then we hear it first snippet. It's like Tom Hardy might play Venom.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe about the whole thing.
Well, it wasn't my gripe, because when they said Tom Hardy's gonna do it,
because
I initially
whether he was really just Venom, or whether he was Eddie Brock or Flash Thompson.
Well, I didn't care much about that. He wasn't gonna be Flash Thompson.
Well, it would make more sense for him to be Flash Thompson, man.
No, I think he makes a lot better Eddie Brock. Just because if you look at his acting repertoire, he's done a lot of different things.
Dude, not just,
and he's done some awkward stuff, he's done some weird stuff, so he has the acting range to pull it off.
Agreed, but Tom Hardy is more athletical guy than he is, a quirky reporter guy.
Here's the thing, I never read any of the Spider-Man comics in which Eddie Brock shows up, so I actually have no idea what kind of reporter Eddie Brock is. The idea is you borrow stuff from the comics, but you make your own movie. So it's always gonna be different. You're always gonna change it. So when they drop Tom Hardy, it's like, all right. Like, from the acting standpoint, I actually like it.
Yeah.
At this point, I still don't know what they're gonna do with the movie.
Yeah.
I do know that I'm pretty much gonna like it based on the fact that they put Tom Hardy in, and he goes all in on his roles. Like when he acts, like he's gonna put himself out there. So you know he's gonna put up a good performance, and you're wondering, especially what I was wondering was like, what are you gonna do story-wise? Because I always pay attention to the story.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, like you can have great acting, but you know, a BS plot, and it just doesn't make sense.
True that.
So if you can put the whole story together with the acting, you know, you
and so we finally got the movie, and you know what, and also before I went to see, I noticed on IMDb that was PG-13, it wasn't rated R.
I didn't even know.
So I was
Honestly,
wondering how they were going to pull it off,
me.
because Venom is one of those characters, and I think movie lacked in that regard, because there's a few scenes with Venom that there's a few things that he does in the movie.
Well, here's the thing. If you're Sony, you're putting, basically, you just loaned Spider-Man to Marvel. And you announce that you're gonna do like the whole Sinister Six thing, that you're gonna make, you're gonna give them their own movies. And so that means probably, so there's like some sort of long-term plan here.
Probably.
Where they're gonna do stuff. At some point, I expect them to bring a Spider-Man in, whether it's Peter Parker, whether it's somebody else. There's gonna be Spider-Man in these movies, but there's gonna be a lot more of them. So if you're looking long-term, you want to start off on a financially good basis. Like you want to put out a movie that people are gonna go watch, and it's gonna make money for you. Because if you put out a movie and you don't make money, you're scraping all the plans. Like the whole Sinister Six thing, what are we gonna do with it? They're not gonna do it. True. If Venom doesn't make money. So you have to sit down and ask yourself, like, are we gonna go play it safe? Or are we gonna go all out on an R-rated movie that might work or might not work? Or might work and audiences don't accept it or don't go to watch it. And even though with Deadpool and with Logan, we learned that if you put what's supposed to be an R-rated movie, and if you make it an R-rated movie instead of PG-13, it's still gonna draw a crowd. But Sony, I think, played it safe, and they say, you know what, we're gonna do PG-13 version. We're gonna cut back on certain stuff so more people can actually, because when you make it age appropriate for 13 and over, that's a bigger audience. So it's like, what you might lose on not making an R-rated, you can actually make up for it by more people going to see it. I do not agree with that decision, but I know from the whole management position why it makes sense.
Of course.
I still think this movie would have been a lot better had it been an R-rated movie.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, blow his head and put it on the pile. What pile?
Get piled up, And the thing is, like, and you saw with the post-credit scene or mid-credit scene, however you want to call it, you saw that what they planned with the next one, especially when you're going to bring
Carnage into it.
Who cares? So you're going to bring Carnage into it. Your next movie with Venom and Carnage, you can't make it PG-13.
Agreed.
So this movie had to make enough money for them to sit down and say, you know what? Next one's gonna be R-rated, because with Carnage in it, especially with Woody, we saw with the little snippet that we saw in the mid-credit scene, you know he's gonna make a great Carnage.
Agreed.
That one's gonna have to be.
Woody is one of my favorite actors, man.
That one's gonna have to be an R-rated movie.
And he can play just like Tom Hardy. He can pretty much play. He has a versatile, you know, roster of characters that he played over the years. That I think that he's gonna pull off Carnage pretty well, and I think the match between the two is gonna be pretty solid as well.
And so. I would, and I'm not sure about Woody, but I think Hardy is no stranger to R-rated movies, and actually having two of them play off of each other in an R-rated movie is gonna be pure gold.
Agreed,
like,
100%.
That alone is gonna be worth the price of the movie.
Yeah. But in regards to Venom, I was pleasantly surprised. Honestly, I didn't really have any expectations. I was just, you know, it was just the PG-13, the R thing.
Well, I didn't know.
R-rated thing, yeah.
So
I was wondering whether that was gonna,
just focus on the movie.
I was just wondering whether they're gonna, you know, not screw it up necessarily, but botch it in a way, you know. It's just like, and there were a few scenes that would have benefited from R rating, as you already said. But to me, I don't know, man. Ben Hardy was pretty solid as Eddie Brock, although I never seen that character displayed in this manner. Like usually, you know, he's trying to one up Peter Parker, so to speak. And in this movie,
Because
there is no Peter Parker, so he's his own man.
Because we didn't read the comics. That plays
That as well.
Our only portray of Eddie Brock is Spider-Man 3. And in that movie...
cartoons, man.
I love this version of Eddie Brock, where he's the investigative reporter, where stuff happens, like he pushes the boundaries, and like even his fall from grace, which you didn't like.
Dude, the fall from grace was no. I didn't like the fact that his life got ruined by that one thing. You know, it's like
but it wasn't that one thing. Like he already made couple of mishaps.
Girlfriend won't leave you just because you asked the wrong question at an interview. You know, it's just,
no, she's gonna leave you for like the spiraling of reasons that after that.
I don't know, man.
For the aftermath
of that decision. Man. It's like all of a sudden
she's gonna get fired. She got fired, but there's plenty of reasons.
It's been a while since you saw the movie.
And and they didn't just kick her out. Like she still plays a vital part with everything that's happening.
True,
so she never
reminded me of Ant-Man actually. So, like how Scott Lang is the relationship with his ex-wife and the stuff.
Well, I wouldn't go to that.
Well, I mean, it's just because of the daughter, right?
Yeah.
But Venom does. I mean, it's an all-around well-made movie. I mean, and
listen, from the writing standpoint, from the directorial
and the
standpoint,
jokes, man,
the acting,
and the way the Venom talks to him in his set, I thought was perfect because usually, when you read the comic book or watch cartoon, he's kind of like talking to himself. Although in cartoons, you'll often hear Venom, talking. It reminded me of Doc from Red vs. Blue, it's like talking to O'Malley, So it made sense. And then the thing with the head coming out, it was like, okay. I didn't mind it one bit. I mean, it kind of also makes sense, so...
Yeah, the
seriously.
whole them talking to each other, or when he passes a mirror and the reflection is Venom.
Yeah, and humans doing stupid stuff, like the moment, it's like... It was kind of like, you could see where it was going, but it's still, there were a few surprises here and there, like...
It was refreshing.
Oh, definitely, man. And the fights with... Oh, man, dude...
And Venom and Riot going at it.
Like you said, they didn't do him justice necessarily in Spider-Man 3, but here, like, when it comes to fighting scenes, they were all pretty solid, man. I can't complain one bit. So...
Visual effects were great.
Yeah, CGI
acting is nothing to...
Yeah, dude,
acting's on
all
point.
the actors were on point as well, so
the whole movie comes out, even if you're on... I don't know, on edge, like whether it's a good movie, whether you want to go, whether you're on the fence or not. It's a pretty solid movie all around.
Yeah, what's your rating, man?
23, 4.
Yeah, I'm going with the solid 21, man. I mean,
because the thing, I enjoyed it,
and the music. Don't forget the music. The score, the Eminem score at the end was off the charts.
Yes, I listened to it a few times afterwards, and I love that song. Man.
Yeah,
it's great, and it's and. It kind of made me stop, and I was like, I wish
there was a music video.
No, well,
you remember the old days when they used to make music videos for the movies?
Yep.
I miss those days, man.
Well, I don't know whether they made one or not.
But they don't do that anymore. Like even if they make it, it's not something they do for movies.
I actually was hoping, because when you listen to Venom by Eminem, you're like, I kind of wish he did the whole soundtrack.
Yeah,
because it would work.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Like if he's up for it, when they made the next one, like Eminem would make a great soundtrack for it.
I agreed 100%. Yeah.
And we talked about this in one of the whether it was off camera or whatever. We said like, there's not too many musicians anymore.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
On the Bohemian Rhapsody review. But the thing was like, there's not too many artists today who are like, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy do the whole soundtrack. Eminem fits the Venom. Like I would really like to see him do a whole soundtrack for it.
Agreed, 100%.
I think he would nail it.
Yeah.
So like, if you were on the fence, like go watch it seriously.
And the teaser for the animated movie Into Spider-Verse was also pretty cool. I like the animation; it was a little bit different.
Well, here's the thing with when you draw from the cartoons, especially the animated series, the last one, whatever, Ultimate Spider-Man or whatever, you're gonna see the. And I think they keep it here.
Well right now it's Marvel Spider-Man, but yeah.
When they go to different universes, they change the animation a bit.
Oh, cool.
So I think we're gonna see the same thing here. I think they're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
It would make sense, just to like let you know you're now in another universe, and there's another Spider-Man in town.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's gonna be fun. Like, go watch Venom. Don't take your kids though.
Until next time, Bash Bros up.